What if a billionaire challenged a simple mechanic to win one impossible race and lost everything instead? In the final seconds, one move changed the game forever, and what he revealed shocked everyone watching. This isn't just a race. It's a mind-blowing twist you didn't see coming. Like, subscribe and stay till the end for the full story. Under the electric glow of Los Angeles' underground racing circuit, the air buzzed with anticipation and disbelief. Daniel Carter stood quietly amid the roaring engines and flashing lights, his worn jacket and grease-stained hands making him look out of place among the elite racers. Yet his eyes told a different story, steady, focused, and unreadable. As Victor Hale stepped back with a confident smirk, the challenge lingered in the air. Most saw it as entertainment and a billionaire's cruel joke, but Daniel understood it as something deeper, something personal that demanded more than just speed. The crowd's laughter echoed as Daniel circled the car he had been given. It wasn't the fastest, nor the newest, but he examined it. Like an artist studying a blank canvas, every detail mattered. The hum of the engine, the balance of the chassis, the subtle imperfections others ignored. While seasoned drivers mocked him, Daniel's silence spoke volumes. He wasn't here to impress, he was here to execute. Beneath the noise and arrogance, he sensed an opportunity hidden within Victor's challenge, one that could redefine everything if he played it right. When the race began, chaos erupted instantly. Cars lunged forward like wild animals, engines screaming through the neon-lit streets of the city. Daniel, however, held back. He allowed others to surge ahead, observing their patterns, their aggression, and their mistakes. To the untrained eye, it looked like hesitation, but in reality, it was precision strategy. Every turn he took was deliberate, every acceleration measured. He wasn't racing against them, he was studying them, calculating the exact moment when control would matter more than speed. The city blurred around him as the race intensified. Spectators lined the streets, their cheers blending into a thunderous roar that echoed through the night. Daniel's calm demeanor remained unchanged as he maneuvered through tight corners and unpredictable traffic. One by one, competitors began to falter. Some pushed too hard, others underestimated the course. Daniel anticipated every misstep, gliding past them with surgical precision. What seemed like luck to outsiders was, in truth, the result of years of unseen expertise and relentless discipline. By the time the final lap approached, tension gripped the crowd. Daniel was no longer invisible, he was a contender. The gap between him and the lead racers shrank with every second, and his movements becoming sharper, more aggressive. It was as if he had been waiting for. Then, with a sudden burst of calculated speed, he overtook one driver, his car cutting through the chaos like a blade. The spectators fell into stunned silence, watching a narrative they never expected unfold before their eyes. Crossing the finish line first, Daniel didn't celebrate. He simply slowed the car and stepped out, his expression calm and composed, as if the outcome had never been in doubt. The crowd erupted into a mix of shock and disbelief, struggling to process what they had just witnessed. Victor Hale, who had watched with growing unease, could no longer hide the crack in his confidence. What was meant to be a spectacle had turned into something far more serious, something he hadn't anticipated. Victor approached with forced composure, dismissing the victory as mere chance. "Lucky drive," he said, though his tone lacked conviction. Daniel didn't respond immediately. Instead, he walked to the back of the car and slowly opened the trunk. The gesture seemed insignificant at first, but the silence that followed hinted otherwise. As the lid lifted, revealing its contents, the atmosphere shifted instantly. What lay inside wasn't just equipment, it was a glimpse into a level of engineering far beyond what anyone present had imagined. The compact engine prototype resting in the trunk drew gasps from those close enough to see it. Its design was sleek, unconventional, and unmistakably advanced. Even the most experienced racers and mechanics recognized its significance at a glance. This wasn't a simple upgrade or modification. It was innovation at its core. Daniel stood beside it quietly, allowing the realization to settle in. The race had never been about proving his driving skills. It had been about revealing something much greater. "I didn't come here to win your race," Daniel finally said, his voice steady and controlled. His words carried through the stunned crowd, reaching even those who couldn't see the prototype. "I came to prove what you overlooked." There was no arrogance in his tone, only certainty. The statement struck harder than any victory could, and in that moment, it became clear that Daniel wasn't just a mechanic. He was a creator, someone who had mastered both the art of engineering and the science of performance. Victor Hale's expression shifted as the truth unfolded before him. The technology his empire had been chasing, investing millions to acquire, was standing right in front of him, created by the very man he had dismissed. The power dynamic changed instantly. What began as a billionaire's game had turned into a revelation of overlooked genius. And as the crowd absorbed the magnitude of what they had witnessed, one thing became undeniable. Daniel Carter hadn't just won a race, he had redefined the rules entirely. The race exploded into motion like a storm breaking. Engines roaring and tires shrieking against the asphalt. Neon lights flickered across polished car bodies as drivers fought aggressively for position. Daniel, however, did not rush. He lingered behind, observing every drift, every risky overtake, every flaw in technique. While others chased speed, he chased understanding. His hands rested steady on the wheel, his breathing calm despite the chaos. To the crowd, it looked like hesitation. To Daniel, it was calculation. Every second he was building a mental map of the race, preparing for a moment no one else could see coming. As the race pushed forward, competitors began making mistakes under pressure. One driver clipped a barrier, another misjudged a turn, forcing others to adjust abruptly. Daniel noted it all, adapting his strategy in real time. His car moved smoothly, almost silently, compared to the aggressive roars around him. Spectators started whispering, confused by his patience. Why wasn't he pushing harder? Why stay behind when the prize was within reach? But Daniel understood something they didn't. The race wasn't about dominating early. It was about timing, precision, and striking when every other driver had already revealed their limits. The final lap arrived like a ticking clock, tension rising in the air. Suddenly, Daniel's posture changed. His grip tightened slightly, his focus sharpened. Without warning, he accelerated, his car responding instantly, as if it had been waiting for this exact moment. He slipped past one racer, then another, his movements clean and calculated. No wasted motion, no unnecessary risk. It was as if he had rehearsed every second. The crowd gasped as he carved through the pack, turning what seemed impossible into something inevitable. Each overtake felt effortless, like he was operating on a level far beyond everyone else. Drivers ahead grew desperate, trying to block his advance, but Daniel anticipated every move. He knew their patterns, their weaknesses, their breaking points. One by one, they fell behind him, unable to match his precision. The roaring engines that once dominated the track now seemed to fade behind his steady momentum. By the final stretch, there was no competition left, only distance. The finish line approached quickly, and with one final surge, Daniel crossed it first. Silence followed, heavy and stunned, as the realization settled across the crowd like a wave. Victor Hale stood frozen, his confident smirk slowly disappearing. This wasn't the outcome he expected. The man he dismissed as just another mechanic had just outperformed some of the best underground racers in the country. "Lucky drive," Victor muttered, though even he didn't fully believe his own words. Around him, people exchanged uncertain glance. Luck didn't look like that. Luck didn't move with such control, such deliberate mastery, something deeper. Daniel stepped out of the car without celebration. No raised hands, no triumphant expression. Instead, he walked calmly to the rear of the vehicle, as if the race itself had been secondary. The crowd watched closely, curiosity replacing shock. When he opened the trunk, the atmosphere shifted instantly. Inside was not a collection of tools or spare parts, but a sleek, compact engine prototype. Its design was unlike anything they had seen. Refined, advanced, almost futuristic. The murmurs grew louder as people leaned in, trying to comprehend what they were looking at. Victor's eyes narrowed as he stepped closer. He recognized the design immediately, or at least fragments of it. His company had been searching for technology like this for years, investing millions into research that never quite reached this level of perfection. Yet, here it was, sitting in the trunk of a mechanic's car. The realization unsettled him. This wasn't just about the race anymore. This was about control, innovation, and power, things Victor believed he owned completely. But now, that belief was beginning to crack. "I didn't come here to win your race," Daniel said, his voice calm but firm, cutting through the noise. The confidence in his tone silenced the crowd again. "I came to prove what you overlooked." Every word landed with precision, just like his driving. He wasn't boasting, he was stating a fact. For years, Daniel had worked in the shadows, refining ideas that others dismissed or ignored. Tonight, he chose to reveal them, not through negotiation or presentation, but through undeniable demonstration. The truth unfolded quickly. Daniel had once been part of the very industry Victor dominated, a brilliant engineer whose ideas were considered too unconventional, too risky. When he walked away, no one followed. No one believed in his vision, but he continued alone, perfecting his designs in silence. The engine in the trunk wasn't just a prototype. It was the result of years of dedication, failure, and persistence. And now it was outperforming everything Victor's empire had built, not in theory, but in reality. The crowd began to understand the full picture. This wasn't just a mechanic winning a race. This was a man reclaiming recognition in the most undeniable way possible. The race had been a stage, the cars mere tools. The real victory was the revelation of something greater, or innovation that couldn't be ignored. People who once laughed at Daniel now looked at him with respect, even awe. In a single moment, he had rewritten his identity in their eyes. Victor Hale remained silent, his expression tight as he processed everything. The balance of power had shifted, not through force or wealth, but through intellect and execution. For the first time, he wasn't the one in control. Daniel, standing,